Hello, Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 24, Dimensions of Knowledge Society, Issues of Access and Equity. We are going to start our lecture with the topic ICT Infrastructure and Knowledge Dissemination. In knowledge societies, not only the creation of knowledge is important, its dissemination and knowledge sharing with the world around is equally important. In the information age, ICTs are the main medium for knowledge dissemination. In this information age, the info-technological revolution is restructuring the global social economic equations, shifting from income divide to knowledge divide. We stand at the dawn of the new millennium, which ushers with it a world of greater interconnectivity, accelerating flow of data, and shrinking time and national boundaries. Accessibility of World Wide Web is turning the world into a global village. The prediction is that around 1 billion will computer and telecommunication technologies became the base of knowledge societies. Knowledge sharing is the interactive process of making the right information available to people at the right time in a comprehensible manner to enable them to act judiciously, enriching the knowledge base in the entire mechanism. Knowledge sharing can occur at all levels, between countries, within a country, between communities, and among individuals. It can occur from local to global, from poor to rich, and vice versa. Knowledge dissemination and sharing become indispensable in day-to-day life for good governance, participation of people in their development, etc. Unrestricted and continuous sharing of global and local knowledge between policy makers, public and private sectors, and civil society heralds and way forward to an empowered knowledge society which can efficiently manage the development change process. It ensures inclusion of poor and marginalized communities in the change process. Rapid technological advances since Second World War occurred due to the convergence of telecommunications and computing technology, known as Information and Communication Technologies (ICT). ICT has been the drivers of the knowledge society. They are providing new and faster ways of delivering and accessing information, innovative ways for real-time communication, and new ways to do business and create livelihood opportunities. From the earliest period in history, knowledge has been passed on from one generation to the other through written text, folklore, word of mouth, religion, and customs. The knowledge, however, remained preserved geographically and hierarchically. On the other hand, ICT breaks all the natural, social, cultural, and hierarchical barriers to knowledge sharing. It has the potential to help the people to leapfrog some of the traditional barriers to development by making use of knowledge in various ways, such as by improving access to information, expanding their market base, enhancing employment opportunities, making government services work better, etc. In the contemporary global context, the use of information and communication technologies (ICTs) is expanding rapidly. ICTs comprise a diverse set of technological tools and resources to create, disseminate, store, and manage data and information. Traditional ICT tools such as television, radio, and the telephone have proven their effectiveness in promoting development. The emergence of computers, the internet, and the wireless communications technology, along with powerful software for processing and integrating text, sound, and the video into electronic media, comprise modern ICT. For the past 2 decades, the spread of the global electronic network of computers, popularly referred to as the Internet and the wireless telephony, has generated an unprecedented global flow of information, products, people, capital, and ideas. Internet-based electronic mails, news groups, discussion groups, and interactive websites hold boundless potential to reach everyone who is connected to the internet to target specific information. The greatest advantage of ICTs is the reach and the low cost of technology and data transmission. Technically, every individual can have a private or public access to a data terminal, which connects him to each and every individual in the world. Knowledge dissemination and knowledge sharing in knowledge societies depend on ICT infrastructure, which mainly include telecommunications, computer mediated communications, the internet, and mass media of communication. Now let us move to the topic telecommunication network. Telecommunication network is a key facilitator in the knowledge society. Telecommunications system is one of the most complex systems ever built in the humankind. It has penetrated every aspect of human life. In the 19th century, the inventions of the telegram and the telephone forever changed the way of messages moved around the world. Telephony made possible virtually instantaneous two-way communication between any two places on the planet connected by appropriate wiring and switching devices. In the beginning, most of the telephony networks were developed as public monopolies, though the US was exception. Extensive international organizational arrangements were established to ensure interconnectivity through common networks standards. The International Telecommunications Union (ITU) and related treaty arrangements represent some of the first attempts to develop effective forms of international governance. Since the 1980s, governments in all countries have come under the increasing pressure to commercialize, privatize, and deregulate their telecommunications industries, and by the late 1990s, virtually all national telephone networks have been at least partly privatized or opened up to national and international competition. This resulted in drastic decreases in the price of international communications services, thereby promoting faster and cheaper knowledge dissemination. Telecommunications is now but one form of the processing information. Transmission and linkage technologies are increasingly diversified and integrated into computer-operated networks. The latest development in telecommunication technology, the cellular or mobile phones, shows a convergence of different communication technologies. Although the cell phones, or at least the technology behind them, have been around since 1960s. Tremendous technological improvement in the cell phones started happening for the last 1.5 decades. To sending messages Today, sending messages and text messages, internet and radio accessibility, etc., are possible in cell phones. Every month, it seems a new cell phone comes out that is smarter than the last in its ability to generate and transmit a growing amount of data, voice, images, news, and more. Of late, technologies of the photography, broadcasting, audio system, and internet have all converged into one gadget, the cellular phone. Now let us move to topic computer mediated communication network, the internet. The internet network began in 1960s in the United States and soon became very common. Internet network became the backbone of the computer mediated communication in the 1990s, since it gradually links up most networks. In the mid-1990s, it connected 44,000 computer networks and about 3.2 million host computers worldwide, with an estimated 25 million users, and it is expanding rapidly. In the year 2005, the network crossed 6 million. The rapid evolution of microprocessor technology since its discovery, as well as the swift advances in fabric optic network technologies, resulted in the rapid growth of the computing power and the communication power of people around the world. These advances in technology enabled the development of new types of services to be used in digital format. Technological advances have also slashed the cost of information and communication. Services such as electronic email have become free of cost. Internet telephony offers much cheaper long-distance communication than the traditional telephone. The cost of transmitting digital information anywhere in the world has also fallen dramatically until the early 1980s. Communication was generally restricted to analog signaling, which means each telecommunication network was designed to carry different types of information separately. Voice traffic was carried over the telephone system, text used a separate telex network, and a high-frequency broadcast network were dedicated to sending videos and audio signals. With digital communication, these separate networks are becoming less differentiated. The internet currently carries a combination of picture, drawing, moving image, sound, and text. The technologies of telephone and television, the radio and the camera, the fax and word processor, the database, and the spreadsheet all are integrated into one system. The internet, which makes internet unique in its capacity to support two-way interactions, since the early 1990s, the World Wide Web has become the mainstream environment for creating and disseminating digital information. Previously, access to the internet was almost exclusively from personal computers. This has been changing for the past couple of years. As mentioned earlier, now internet is available through mobile phones, data enabled wireless telephones. This development enables users in remote areas to access the internet and its related services without a basic ICT infrastructure. Now let us move to the point mass media of communication. Wireless broadcasting was one of the great contributors to the development of oral communication culture in the 20th century. It became one of the important media for knowledge dissemination in the information age. Unlike telecommunications, where communications happens from person to person, here knowledge is transferred from one person to many. The mass media of the communication includes newspaper, magazines, television, radio, movies, video, CDs, and other forms that reach mass audiences. Visual media has become predominant communication medium, especially in the information age. Led by television, there has been a communication explosion in the last 3 decades. Marshall McLuhan argues that media influence society more in terms of how they communicate than in terms of what they communicate. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for so patientful hearing.